I got asked to, I was proud to do it, to come speak about Kelly for a minute.
Sometimes, heartbreak doesn't arrive with a dramatic crash. It doesn't announce itself with shattering declarations or cinematic confrontations. Often, it creeps in quietly, almost imperceptibly, weaving itself into the spaces between people who are otherwise close, leaving a lingering ache that few outside the circle can perceive. This was precisely the kind of heartbreak that played out quietly and painfully in the lives of three of music's most recognizable voices: Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani. Their story, unfolding largely in the public eye through the lens of a reality competition that has defined primetime television for over a decade, was far more than ratings, rivalries, or weekly eliminations. It was a story about friendship, love, loss.
That's my goal. That's my goal.
You don't say.
I just laid it out there right now. That is the thing.
And the human capacity to navigate delicate emotional terrain under relentless scrutiny. By 2018, The Voice had become more than a singing competition. It had become a cultural institution. Millions tuned in every season not just to witness emerging talent, but to watch the interactions of its coaches, the personalities whose fame and charm carried their own weight beyond the stage. Blake Shelton, with his laid-back Southern charm, and a career built on the foundations of country music authenticity, had become synonymous with the show. He was charismatic, confident, and effortlessly funny, the kind of personality who could both mentor and tease with equal ease. Gwen Stefani, the Californian pop-rock icon, had brought her own unique energy.
Yes,
That would be a...
No, I was on your record.
A combination of glamour, artistry, and down-to-earth sincerity that complemented Blake's charisma while asserting her own presence. And then there was Kelly Clarkson, a powerhouse in her own right, known for her vocal strength, candidness, and the honesty that had carried her from American Idol fame to sustained success as a solo artist and television personality. The convergence of these three personalities on one show would, inevitably, create more than just professional dynamics. It would illuminate the subtle intersections of personal relationships, emotions, and the unpredictable path of human connection. Gwen Stefani first joined The Voice in its 7th season in 2014, and her appearances would become a recurring presence over alternating seasons.
What
I
is
know,
that?
it's like, I think Wookiee. I felt
Nice.
I can't make a Chewbacca noise.
Her collaboration with Blake Shelton on the show, initially professional, blossomed into something far more intimate. By November 2015, the couple confirmed what had been speculated by fans and media alike. They were in a relationship. Their romance captured the public imagination not merely because of their fame, but because of the narrative of two people finding love in the unlikeliest of professional environments, a competition television show where stakes were high and emotions often raw. Meanwhile, Kelly Clarkson would join the coaching panel in the 14th season, 2018, bringing with her the credibility of experience, a sharp sense of humor, and an emotional depth that would resonate with both contestants and viewers. Her addition to the show coincided with significant changes in her personal life, though the full impact of those changes would only become apparent over time.
It's such Kelly Lane, like I was like, that's...
Between these three, a delicate balance existed, one shaped by both shared experiences and divergent paths. Off-camera, the trio navigated a complex web of emotions, ambitions, and personal challenges. Kelly, for example, was facing her own private trials during this period. She was in the midst of her divorce, a process she publicly announced in June 2020 after nearly 7 years of marriage. It was a time of profound emotional upheaval, and yet she maintained her professional obligations with remarkable poise. Despite her own heartbreak, she continued to support both Blake and Gwen, even as their relationship progressed toward engagement and eventual marriage. The contrast between her personal sorrow and the joy surrounding her friends was a recurring theme.
Did you kind of feel like you were hugging a Wookiee? Did you kind of?
One that tabloids and social media often distorted into simplistic narratives about the third wheel, or allegiances in friendship. In reality, Kelly's experience was far more nuanced. She was navigating grief and loss while simultaneously honoring the happiness of those she cared about, a testament to emotional maturity and the often unseen labor required to maintain relationships under the glare of fame. Blake and Gwen, for their part, were aware of the delicate position Kelly occupied. Their interactions with her were defined by genuine respect and care, an acknowledgement that the emotional lives of those around them mattered as much as their own. Blake, in particular, had a long-standing friendship with Kelly that predated Gwen's entry into his life. Their rapport was characterized by humor, shared experiences, and
You do not want to be on one of my records. You do not.
Right here.
a mutual understanding of the pressures inherent in being public figures. When Kelly's divorce proceedings and emotional interviews became fodder for media speculation, Blake took care to publicly diffuse tension, emphasizing respect and support rather than competition or conflict. Gwen, similarly, addressed the situation with honesty, posting statements about integrity and emotional openness. The trio's navigation of these circumstances demonstrated a rare level of emotional intelligence in an environment often defined by spectacle, gossip, and dramatization. They were, in essence, balancing professional responsibilities, personal challenges, and the emotional weight of public scrutiny, all while maintaining the underlying bonds of friendship. The media, however, often failed to capture the subtleties of this dynamic.
Like, this has to be war. You're so stupid. Like, it has to be competitive and work against each other.
Gossip outlets and social media commentary frequently framed Kelly as the third wheel, a position she neither sought nor endorsed. Headlines speculated on loyalties, emotional tensions, and potential conflicts that were largely absent in reality. Behind the scenes, Kelly continued to express admiration and support for Blake and Gwen, referring to them as "my rocks" during interviews and public appearances. Her words reflected a deep understanding of friendship as something that encompasses both joy and suffering, a recognition that the happiness of those we care about need not diminish our own capacity to heal or grow. In many ways, her ability to maintain this perspective offered viewers an intimate lesson in empathy and resilience.
You know him as one of the most successful country artists ever, and as the man who, while I hate to admit it,
Qualities often overshadowed by sensationalized narratives of celebrity rivalry or romantic entanglement. Blake, too, experienced moments of reflection as he observed Kelly's journey. Witnessing her grieve and navigate her divorce reminded him of his own past heartbreaks and the ways in which fame often amplifies emotional experiences. Gwen, in turn, found her gratitude reinforced by these shared vulnerabilities. Observing, Kelly's emotional honesty illuminated the importance of integrity, support, and the quiet power of empathy. Together, the three of them formed a kind of therapeutic circle, one in which the emotional experiences of each individual resonated with and supported the others. This dynamic underscored a
I always love, that's so funny, it's the last one. For some reason, I always gravitate towards the last song on people's albums.
profound truth that even within the high-pressure world of entertainment, genuine human connection remains a stabilizing force, capable of fostering growth, healing, and understanding. The years that followed offered further insights into the trio's intertwined lives. Kelly continued her role on The Voice through 2023, providing mentorship and support to contestants while maintaining her friendship with Blake and Gwen. Her public statements consistently reflected a commitment to kindness, fairness, and emotional authenticity. Blake, after 23 seasons as a coach, the last of the original members, left the show in May 2023, marking the end of an era for both the series and the friendships that had developed within its walls. His departure was met with tributes from both fans and colleagues, with Kelly encapsulating the sentiment succinctly during a live broadcast.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Sometimes it's nice to watch Mom and Dad fight.
You made this place safe for broken hearts. That statement, simple yet profound, captured not only Blake's contribution to the show, but also the emotional journey the trio had shared over nearly a decade. It was a recognition that beyond the music, the competition, and the television ratings, there existed a human narrative defined by vulnerability, support, and the slow work of emotional healing. Reflecting on this narrative, it becomes clear that the story of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani is about far more than fame or professional success. It is a story of resilience, empathy, and the often unseen labor required to maintain relationships in the face of personal trials. It is about learning to honor one's own emotions while simultaneously supporting the happiness of those we care. About a delicate balancing act that requires patience, generosity, and self-awareness. Their experiences underscore the reality that heartbreak and joy are not mutually exclusive. They coexist, shaping our capacity to understand, forgive, and grow. In navigating this coexistence, the trio offered the public a rare glimpse into the humanity behind celebrity, reminding viewers that even those who seem larger than life are engaged in the same emotional work as anyone else, learning, healing, and striving to be present for the people who matter most. The story also illustrates the intricate dynamics of friendship within a highly publicized environment. Unlike private relationships, where conflicts and emotions can be contained and managed away from public view, friendships in the spotlight are constantly subject to interpretation, commentary, and speculation. Every gesture, interview, and social media post is scrutinized, often divorced from context, and simplified into a narrative that fits the demands of media consumption. For Kelly, Blake, and Gwen, this meant that their personal experiences, grief, support, love, and loyalty were continuously filtered through an external lens. The emotional intelligence required to navigate such scrutiny while preserving authentic connections is extraordinary. In doing so, they modeled an approach to friendship that is rare both in celebrity culture and in everyday life. One grounded in honesty, empathy, and the acknowledgement that relationships are dynamic, complex, and deserving of care, even under pressure. Ultimately, the journey of these three artists demonstrates that human connection, friendship, mentorship, and love
It has more wins than any other coach on The Voice. He's had
can endure even amidst heartache and public attention. Kelly Clarkson's navigation of her divorce, her ongoing support of Blake and Gwen, and the mutual respect and care exhibited by all three individuals offer a compelling example of emotional resilience. They reveal how friendship can be a stabilizing force, even when lives are lived in full view of the world. The image of Blake exiting The Voice, with Kelly's heartfelt words affirming his impact, serves as both a literal and symbolic moment, the end of a professional era, and a testament to the enduring power of compassion and understanding in human relationships. The story of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani is not merely a tale of celebrity romance or televised drama. It is a story of the heart, revealing the quiet triumphs and struggles that define the human experience. It reminds us that even amid the glitter, the applause, and the spotlight, people still grapple with loss, celebrate victories, and find ways to support one another through the complexities of life. Their journey affirms that friendship, empathy, and authenticity are not just abstract ideals, but living practices, demonstrated in how we stand by those we care about, how we navigate our own pain, and how we honor the shared humanity that binds us all. In a world fascinated by spectacle, their example shows that true connection, patient understanding, and unwavering kindness are, in their own right, remarkable achievements, worthy of recognition, emulation, and gratitude. While the surface narrative of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani's relationships may seem defined by public milestones, engagements, marriages, divorces, and career decisions, the true depth of their story resides in the quieter moments, the nuances of emotional labor, the subtle acts of support, and the private reconciliations that rarely make headlines. Kelly Clarkson's experience, for instance, represents more than a high-profile divorce. It embodies the challenge of maintaining personal dignity and emotional clarity amid the constant glare of public scrutiny. Divorce, for most people, is already a profoundly destabilizing event, touching every aspect of daily life. But for someone in Kelly's position, every decision, statement, and public appearance was magnified. Her ability to navigate this with poise while maintaining supportive friendships reflects a level of
I asked him what key he wanted, and he queued up a song and voice memoed, "There's a sign on the door."
emotional intelligence and resilience that resonates far beyond the world of entertainment. Blake Shelton's perspective during this period offers a complementary insight. As a country music star and television personality, he had long cultivated an image of confidence, humor, and groundedness. Yet, beneath the public persona, Blake has demonstrated a keen sensitivity to the emotional lives of those around him, particularly his friends and collaborators. Watching Kelly experience heartbreak allowed him to revisit his own past pain, not as a source of comparison, but as a lens through which empathy could be expressed. Empathy, in this context, was not a passive feeling but an active choice, one that influenced interactions on set, in public appearances, and in private conversations. Blake's sensitivity underscored an important lesson, that emotional support in friendship often requires conscious effort, attentiveness, and sometimes the courage to address difficult truths honestly, even when doing so might be uncomfortable. Gwen Stefani, too, navigated her own complex emotional terrain. While her relationship with Blake had brought joy and stability, it also required negotiating a landscape where personal happiness intersected with the grief of a close friend. Gwen's approach, anchored in honesty, public acknowledgement of integrity, and a willingness to stand by her values, provided a model for balancing one's own needs with the needs of others. For Gwen, this meant celebrating her relationship with Blake without overshadowing Kelly's emotional journey. A subtle act that reinforced the idea that genuine friendship does not demand the suppression of personal happiness, but rather the cultivation of sensitivity toward the experiences of those we care about. The dynamics among the three also illustrate a fundamental truth about human connection, that relationships are rarely linear or uncomplicated. Friendship, love, and loyalty intersect in unpredictable ways, often challenging individuals to confront their own biases, fears, and expectations. Kelly's navigation of the period following her divorce exemplifies this complexity. She publicly expressed support for Blake and Gwen, yet privately faced the rawness of her own pain. This dual existence, celebrating another's joy while grappling with personal sorrow, required extraordinary resilience. It is a testament to Kelly's character that she managed to maintain authenticity in both spheres, refusing to allow bitterness to define her interactions or diminish her capacity for empathy.
I turned first, so I'm going first.
Okay.
In doing so, she demonstrated that emotional strength is not the absence of vulnerability, but the ability to act with integrity. Amid it, the broader cultural context in which these dynamics played out adds another layer of significance. The entertainment industry, particularly the world of reality television, is often characterized by performance, image management, and media spectacle. Within this environment, personal lives are commodified, and private emotions are routinely reframed as public entertainment. The trio's experience underscores the tension inherent in this reality. While their interactions were frequently interpreted through the lens of drama and rivalry, the underlying truth was one of mutual respect, emotional awareness, and conscious effort to navigate friendship under pressure. Their story, in this sense, challenges common narratives about celebrity relationships, offering a more nuanced portrayal of how humans manage connection, loyalty, and grief, even when every action is visible to millions. The therapeutic dimension of their shared experiences also warrants attention. Music itself, for all three artists, has long functioned as a medium for processing emotion. Kelly Clarkson's career, from her early days on American Idol to her current work, has been marked by songs that articulate personal struggle, resilience, and empowerment. Blake Shelton's discography similarly reflects themes of love, loss, and introspection, grounded in country storytelling traditions. Gwen Stefani's musical journey has intertwined vulnerability and performance, often transforming personal experiences into creative expression. When these artists intersected on The Voice, the show became more than a competition. It became a stage where the personal and professional converged, where mentorship and camaraderie provided not just guidance for contestants, but emotional sustenance for the coaches themselves. Their interactions can be understood as a form of collective therapy, in which the shared human experiences of heartbreak, support, and reconciliation were mediated through music, conversation, and collaborative engagement. This therapeutic element was particularly evident in moments of vulnerability. Kelly Clarkson, for instance, frequently used her platform on the show to acknowledge emotional realities both for herself and for contestants, reinforcing the notion that struggle and success coexist. Her openness created a space where others, including Blake and Gwen, could engage with their own emotions more fully, without fear of judgment or spectacle. Similarly, Blake Shelton's humor, empathy, and grounded presence functioned as stabilizing forces, allowing for moments of levity and reflection even amid tension. Gwen Stefani's artistry and candidness complemented these dynamics, reinforcing the value of authenticity and emotional honesty. Together, they created an environment in which emotional complexity was not only tolerated, but respected. A rare achievement in the high-stakes, highly publicized world of television entertainment. The evolution of their relationships over time also reflects broader patterns in human connection. Friendships, especially those sustained over years, are shaped by cycles of joy, challenge, and adaptation. The shared experiences of Kelly, Blake, and Gwen illustrate how these cycles manifest in real time, through celebrations of achievement, navigation of personal crises, and the continual negotiation of boundaries and expectations.
What's the matter with you?
I'm getting a lot of joy out of it. It's weird.
You want to fight, Blakey?
Public perception, however, remained a persistent challenge. Gossip, social media commentary, and entertainment reporting frequently simplified complex emotional realities into digestible narratives of rivalry or conflict. Headlines emphasized supposed tensions, mischaracterized loyalties, and amplified minor misunderstandings into sensationalized drama. For the three artists, this presented a dual challenge: managing their own emotional lives while simultaneously correcting, reframing, or tolerating public misinterpretation. Their ability to do so with grace reflects a remarkable balance of patience, resilience, and strategic communication. Rather than reacting defensively or allowing public narratives to dictate private realities, they maintained agency over their relationships, reinforcing the notion that authenticity is a conscious practice rather than an inherent state. By the time Blake Shelton announced his departure from The Voice in May 2023, the trajectory of their shared journey had reached a symbolic turning point. For Kelly Clarkson, his exit represented the conclusion of a professional chapter deeply intertwined with personal growth. Her public acknowledgement, "You made this place safe for broken hearts," was more than a tribute to Blake's role as a mentor and colleague. It was an affirmation of the emotional landscape they had collectively navigated. The phrase encapsulated years of shared experience, from moments of grief and uncertainty to times of joy, mentorship, and mutual support. It served as a reminder that even in high-profile environments, Where personal and professional boundaries are often blurred, it is possible to create spaces of safety, empathy, and understanding. As their narrative continues beyond the confines of the show, the implications extend into broader reflections on human resilience and emotional maturity. The intersection of fame, friendship, and personal hardship creates a unique lens through which to examine how people manage grief, celebrate success, and cultivate meaningful connection. Kelly's experience illustrates the capacity to hold multiple emotional realities simultaneously, to honor personal pain while rejoicing in the happiness of others, to maintain authenticity while navigating public scrutiny, and to balance vulnerability with strength. Blake's approach highlights the importance of empathy, humor, and groundedness in sustaining relationships, while Gwen's journey underscores the value of honesty, integrity, and sensitivity in negotiating complex interpersonal landscapes. Together, their experiences provide a blueprint for navigating life's emotional complexities.
What is it? And he told me it was the Power of Women for Variety magazine.
With grace and intentionality. The story also serves as a cultural reflection on how society engages with celebrity and fame. Audiences are drawn to spectacle, yet the most compelling aspects of these narratives often lie in the quiet, unglamorous moments, the conversations, reflections, and private acts of support that remain largely invisible to the public. By examining these moments, we gain insight into the ways in which humans navigate connection under pressure, negotiate boundaries, and exercise emotional intelligence. The public-facing aspects of Kelly, Blake, and Gwen's lives, interviews, performances, social media posts, represent only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface lies a rich tapestry of emotional work, mutual care, and personal growth, revealing that the true story of celebrity is often far more intricate and instructive than the headlines suggest. The intertwined journeys of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani offer more than a chronicle of fame, relationships, and televised drama. They provide a case study in resilience, empathy, and the human capacity to sustain meaningful connections even amid adversity. Their story underscores the importance of emotional literacy, the quiet power of support, and the enduring impact of friendship in shaping lives. Through heartbreak, triumph, and the subtle negotiations of daily life, they exemplify the ways in which people can remain authentic, compassionate, and connected, even when the world is watching. Their experiences remind us that behind every public persona lies a human being navigating complexity, growth, and the pursuit of emotional wholeness, a lesson as timeless as it is relevant, both within and beyond the world of entertainment. The lives of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani, while intensely public, cannot be fully understood without examining the personal and professional journeys that brought each of them to the stage of The Voice. Kelly Clarkson's story began long before her television presence. She was thrust into the public eye at just 20 years old after winning the inaugural season of American Idol. That early exposure to fame shaped her sense of identity, her relationship with the media, and her approach to vulnerability. She learned quickly that the public's gaze could distort reality, that personal triumphs could be celebrated one day, and personal struggles turned into fodder for tabloid speculation the next. Through this lens, her experience on The Voice was not merely a career opportunity, but also a platform for navigating mature emotional terrain, both her own and that of those around her. Blake Shelton's trajectory was markedly different, though equally formative. Growing up in small-town Oklahoma, he carried the sensibilities of a life grounded in community, family, and country traditions. His rise to fame involved navigating the music industry's pressures while maintaining authenticity, a balancing act that required self-awareness, humility, and a keen sense of boundaries. By the time he became a household name on The Voice, Blake had accumulated years of experience handling public perception, personal loss, and professional scrutiny. These experiences informed his approach to mentorship, his interactions with colleagues, and his capacity for empathy toward friends navigating personal difficulties, including Kelly. Gwen Stefani's story is distinct yet complementary. Emerging from the California punk rock scene with no doubt, Gwen's career involved constant reinvention, navigating the transition from band frontwoman to solo pop icon, and balancing professional success with personal transformation. Her public divorce, eventual romance with Blake, and journey into motherhood added layers of complexity to her public persona. Stefani's ability to remain authentic while managing fame, relationships, and personal evolution positioned her uniquely to engage with Kelly and Blake in meaningful ways on The Voice. When these three forces converged on the set of The Voice, the show became a microcosm of broader human experiences: ambition, heartbreak, loyalty, and emotional growth. Kelly, entering as a coach in 2018, brought not only her formidable talent, but also a depth of experience in navigating high-pressure environments. Her divorce, which became publicly known in June 2020, was a pivotal moment. The personal challenges she faced, including the unraveling of a long-term partnership, the reshaping of her identity as a single parent, and the ongoing negotiation of public perception, demanded resilience and introspection. The juxtaposition of her personal pain with the visible joy of Blake and Gwen's relationship created a complex emotional landscape, one that required careful navigation. Kelly's approach to this landscape reflected her broader philosophy toward relationships and emotional honesty. Despite the media's portrayal of her as caught between Blake and Gwen, she demonstrated remarkable maturity and intentionality. She publicly supported their relationship, acknowledging their happiness without diminishing her own experiences. At the same time, she maintained boundaries that allowed her to process her divorce, protect her emotional well-being, and continue to mentor contestants with authenticity. This balance, while challenging, illustrates a nuanced understanding of human connection. That empathy and support for others need not come at the expense of self-care or personal growth. Blake Shelton's interactions with Kelly and Gwen during this period reveal an equally sophisticated understanding of emotional dynamics. Known for his humor and charisma, Blake often used levity as a tool to navigate tension and offer reassurance. Yet beneath this exterior lay a deep awareness of the complexities of friendship, particularly in the high-pressure, highly visible environment of The Voice. His ability to observe Kelly's emotional journey without judgment, to provide support without overstepping, and to maintain his relationship with Gwen in a way that honored Kelly's experiences, demonstrates a rare form of emotional intelligence. These dynamics were subtle, often invisible to viewers who saw only the polished surface of the show, but they were integral to sustaining the interpersonal bonds that underpinned the program. Gwen Stefani's role in this triangle further emphasizes the importance of authenticity, integrity, and empathy. Her willingness to publicly affirm honesty, both in interviews and social media, reinforced a framework of trust and respect within the trio. Gwen's own experiences with public scrutiny and personal transformation allowed her to recognize the delicate nature of Kelly's situation, and she approached it with sensitivity. Her actions underscore a broader lesson: that true friendship involves not only celebrating shared joys, but also actively supporting others through their hardships, even when those hardships contrast with one's own happiness. The professional dynamics of The Voice also played a crucial role in shaping these relationships. The show's format, which emphasizes mentorship, competition, and collaboration, requires coaches to engage with a range of emotional scenarios on a weekly basis. Another dimension of their story involves the public's response to these dynamics. The media, driven by the need for clear narratives, often reduced complex interpersonal relationships to simplified storylines. Kelly as the third wheel, Blake as the affable charmer, Gwen as the radiant partner. Yet these representations rarely captured the depth of emotional labor, reflection, and intentionality required to maintain authentic connections. The trio's ability to navigate public scrutiny without allowing it to dictate their private interactions is instructive, highlighting the importance of agency and intentionality in managing both personal and professional life. It is a reminder that appearances, particularly in the age of social media, are often a narrow window into far more intricate realities. The longitudinal impact of these experiences is equally significant. Over the years, Kelly, Blake, and Gwen have continued to evolve, individually and collectively. Kelly's sustained presence on The Voice through 2023, even amid personal challenges, exemplifies perseverance, professionalism, and the integration of personal experience into public mentorship. Blake's departure in May 2023 marked the end of a significant chapter, not only for the show, but for the friendships and emotional networks that had developed within it. Gwen's ongoing engagement, both as a public figure and as a friend, illustrates the sustained nature of commitment, loyalty, and empathy in long-term relationships. Their collective journey also illuminates broader themes of healing, reconciliation, and the therapeutic potential of creative collaboration. Music, by its nature, serves as a conduit for emotional expression, processing, and connection. For all three artists, engagement with music, whether through performance, coaching, or songwriting, provided a framework for understanding and navigating personal experiences. Kelly's songs of empowerment, reflection, and resilience offer insight into her inner world, while Blake's repertoire of love, loss, and introspection provides a complementary lens. Gwen's artistry, blending vulnerability with performance, underscores the transformative potential of creative expression. Together, these shared and individual engagements with music contributed to a cycle of emotional processing, mutual support, and personal growth that extended beyond the confines of the show. The human dimension of their story is perhaps most evident in moments of private reflection and connection. Behind the cameras, the pressures of celebrity, competition, and public attention were often suspended, allowing genuine conversation, humor, and vulnerability to surface. Kelly's acknowledgement of Blake and Gwen as rocks reflects this intimacy, an understanding that emotional support is reciprocal, grounded in shared experience and expressed in both grand gestures and subtle affirmations. Similarly, Blake's attentiveness and Gwen's integrity highlight the active work required to sustain meaningful connections. Listening, reflecting, adapting, and acting with care. These dynamics, largely invisible to the public, constitute the foundational fabric of their relationships, offering a nuanced portrait of friendship, loyalty, and empathy in the context of fame. In exploring these themes, it becomes clear that the trio's story resonates beyond celebrity culture. Their experiences illuminate universal aspects of human connection: the navigation of grief alongside others' joy, the balancing of personal boundaries with empathy, and the cultivation of authenticity in relationships under pressure. They demonstrate that emotional literacy, intentional support, and reflective engagement are essential to sustaining meaningful connections, whether in private life or in public arenas. The lessons embedded in their interactions, resilience, empathy, integrity, and emotional intelligence, are applicable to a wide range of human experiences, offering guidance and inspiration beyond the specific circumstances of fame. As their journeys continue, the significance of these experiences persists. Kelly, Blake, and Gwen have each grown, individually and collectively, shaped by the interplay of personal hardship, public scrutiny, and professional collaboration. Their story serves as both a record of emotional evolution and a model for navigating complex relational landscapes with grace, intentionality, and compassion. It underscores the enduring value of friendship, the power of empathy, and the transformative potential of shared creative and emotional engagement. Ultimately, the narrative of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, And Gwen Stefani is a testament to the human capacity for resilience, empathy, and authentic connection. It reveals how heartbreak and joy can coexist, how personal growth can emerge from challenging circumstances, and how meaningful relationships are sustained through care, reflection, and integrity. Their experiences illustrate the profound ways in which friendship, mentorship, and emotional support can shape lives, offering a compelling blueprint for navigating the complexities of human connection, both in the public eye and beyond. Beyond the immediate emotional intricacies of their friendship, Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani's journey offers insight into how public figures manage the duality of private emotion and public performance. Fame, by its very nature, amplifies every choice, every expression, and every interaction, creating a constant negotiation between authenticity and perception. For Kelly, this tension was particularly pronounced during her divorce, as she balanced personal vulnerability with the professional requirement to remain composed and empathetic for the contestants and audiences she guided. Her ability to do so without diminishing her own grief or compromising her friendships demonstrates not only emotional resilience but also a sophisticated understanding of human connection, one in which honesty, empathy, and compassion coexist with personal boundaries and self-care. Blake Shelton's role within this dynamic further exemplifies the subtle power of supportive friendship. Though often seen as the affable, humorous voice on The Voice, his interactions with Kelly and Gwen reveal a deeper capacity for attentiveness, reflection, and emotional intelligence. Blake's humor, while often entertaining, also functioned as a tool for easing tension, creating safe spaces, and reaffirming bonds during emotionally charged periods. His awareness of the delicate balance required to honor Kelly's grief while nurturing his relationship with Gwen illustrates a profound respect for the emotional realities of those around him, a quality that is too often overlooked in discussions of celebrity relationships. Gwen Stefani's contribution to this triangular friendship underscores the importance of integrity and empathy in sustaining long-term connections. By publicly affirming honesty and demonstrating support for Kelly during her personal struggles, Gwen reinforced a framework of trust and mutual respect. Her actions highlight a universal truth. True friendship is not solely about shared joy or convenience. It is about actively engaging with the complexities of each person's experience, creating space for vulnerability, and honoring the emotional landscapes of others without diminishing one's own. The trio's shared journey also illuminates the therapeutic potential of music and creative collaboration. The Voice, while ostensibly a platform for competition, served as a space where their personal experiences could intersect with professional expression. Music became a conduit for emotional processing, reflection, and mutual support, a medium through which grief, joy, and resilience could coexist. For Kelly, Blake, and Gwen, these interactions reinforce the idea that creativity and emotional authenticity are deeply intertwined, allowing them to process personal challenges while modeling empathy, compassion, and emotional literacy for both contestants and audiences. In reflecting on the story of Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, and Gwen Stefani, it is clear that their experiences transcend the superficial narratives often presented by the media. Their friendship, shaped by personal hardship, professional collaboration, and public scrutiny, exemplifies the complex interplay of empathy, resilience, and authenticity in human relationships. Through heartbreak and joy, professional pressures and personal growth, they have demonstrated the profound capacity of friendship to provide stability, understanding, and healing, even under the most challenging circumstances. Their story is a testament to the enduring power of emotional intelligence, integrity, and empathy. A reminder that even in the glare of public attention, meaningful human connection can flourish. Kelly, Blake, and Gwen have shown that heartbreak need not sever bonds, that joy need not invalidate grief, And that friendship, when cultivated with care and intentionality, can offer both refuge and strength in a world that often demands performance over authenticity. Their journey, richly layered and deeply human, offers not only a chronicle of celebrity lives, but also a universal lesson that compassion, understanding, and emotional courage remain the most enduring measures of connection, resilience, and humanity itself.